All right. Unless anyone objects, I guess we'll just go in order with the agenda item that I put on the.
Yes, let's open the meeting formally here. Say, welcome to the Flux Dev Meeting, February 22nd, 2024. My camera's not working. And yeah, if you want to go first, go ahead, Tomo.
Okay. Hey, everybody. So maybe I should get a show of hands. How many people here are planning to go to KubeCon Paris? Digital hands or physical hands? And I know Stefani will be there.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. So we have been working on all the kind of usual things that we worked on to make the most of KubeCon Paris for the project. So that means we have been working on the 60-second video for the project that appears on the project keynotes. I want to do a shout out to Lee and Pinky, who are not here, but who have put in a lot of our time. The three of us did recordings and had to meet the AV requirements. So it's been a bit of a journey. So appreciate everybody for that. I think one final bit is we usually create like a basic site so that people have a one-stop place to get all the info that they need on everything that's happening around Flux at KubeCon. This time, Kingdon, you're working on putting it on fluxcd.io. So the last bit I need is the URL, so then I can put that in the final slide, and the videographer has been waiting for the slides so that he can finish the video. So I'll just follow up.
KubeCon. So
Okay.
I don't think we should make a dedicated page for each KubeCon event. I think for, I don't know, SEO and all other things, it would be okay to just have it /KubeCon. Before KubeCon, we update the content before each event. And is there maybe, I don't know, Kingdom, how do you think we should do it? Should we remove it from the menu but still be accessible after KubeCon, right?
So the way that I had it set up in the pull request so far is there's a redirect from /KubeCon to /KubeCon 24 EU. And that's where it will go. But the actual historical record is kept in the community repo. So we won't keep the old KubeCon page around on the Flux website when it's time for another KubeCon. And so the URL /KubeCon works fine. And we don't need the redirect if we don't think that we're going to need the redirect.
Yeah, I think the redirect will mess up a little bit with the bots, right? Because then it will be 404. So I think we should just keep it /KubeCon. And
Okay. Yep, that's easy change.
Okay. So just for archiving, we don't have to discuss it here, but it'd be great if there was some kind of maybe KubeCon/archive, so that if people wanted to see what the PAX activities were, they could go to maybe one page that.
So we're going to scrape from the Google site into the community repo, and then the community repo will be the place where they can go to find the historical.
we'll have, it's GitOps. We'll have all the history in Git in the community repo. So
Yeah, I'm just curious where they would find the past ones. What would the URLs become?
Oh, well, there's like historically on each one of these pages, we've had a list of links to the previous year's KubeCon pages, so we could do the same thing on the page.
Backlinking to the old one. Yeah.
Okay, so for this case, can I make a QR code for fluxcd.io/KubeCon? Okay,
Yes.
all right, thanks. Cool.
When do we need to go live on in 2 weeks from now, or?
Well, no, sooner the better, because that's the next topic. I want to socialize, in advance to all the Flux people. Hey, these are all the great talks that are happening. Don't, get them on your schedule. And this is where our booth is located, come visit us. So the sooner that it's live, the better, because then people know in advance.
So by the end of next week, right? We should.
We could have it live by the end of the day if you want. It's 2 pull requests that are both ready to go. I just need to make small change to either one, and we need to merge them in one particular order because we want to be able to see the preview site. But we don't have to make anything live until that second PR merges. We'll just be on the preview site and in the community repo.
So I need to review those, right?
Yes, or Tomo could review them now.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we see the content, or how do we actually validate the content before it goes live?
So the
Content
weird
is
thing about how we will have to merge them is in order for the website to show the website PR, we'll have to merge, and that will actually make it live. But in order for the content to be correct, we need to first merge the community repo. So we'll have to preview the content in the community repo until the site goes live, or until we've merged the first edition of kubecon.md. So
we can review the MD.
we can iterate on kubecon.md after we've merged it once, so that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So all the other changes go directly, right? Tamo changes something in the doc.
The third piece that we haven't created yet is that scrapes from Tomo's site into the kubecon.md. So that's what I'll work on today and tomorrow. And but I'm just going to take a copy of it for now so that we have a placeholder, and that will come within a week or at most.
Oh, and we can use that GitHub action, right? That opens up a request when we have a new version.
Yeah, or we can push it straight to main, or I'm not sure which makes more sense because it's a bot and we want this to go through without review. Or we can use pull request action.
Okay.
I think as long as it's automated, I don't think the review is a problem. I think we can use regular pull request workflow, and then there'll be a review step, and it's fine. But either way, there's an audit log, so.
Yeah, but the main branch is protected, right? I don't want to remove protection for this. So we should go through a pull request.
Okay. That way we can make sure the bot doesn't mess things up.
Yeah.
I think it's better.
And then, moving forward, I can follow normal processes with just the time crunch for this event. Sorry, I don't want to bore everybody on these details, but I appreciate all the work that you've done. All right. Any questions on that part? And yes, please ask any questions in general about Flux activities at KubeCon. So confirming we have a booth. I'll start working on the booth hours for that. We have a 5-minute lightning talk. It's a new thing that the CNCF is trying in exchange for what we used to have, which is a 4-hour project meeting. So I guess people should know that there will not be the project meetings. And instead, there'll be a place at 9 a.m. on the first day on the 19th, where all projects who want to participate get a 5-minute lightning talk. So the deadline for the abstract is tonight, my time here in California. So anybody else wants to participate, I just created a basic Google Doc and asked people to review. It's 5 minutes, so it's, put 500 characters. Basically, it's for people who might not know what Flux is. So, very simple description. And then, of course, the latest news, which is the security audit, which cleared right at the end of the last KubeCon, as well as the latest GA that happened in December and some added features. So it's kind of like what's going on in the 60-second project video, but we get 5 minutes. So there's a little bit more.
I'm not good at the 5-minute talks. Someone else should do it.
Yeah, so Pinky's looking at her schedule to see if she could do it. Lee's also available, but
Great.
was graciously saying, if somebody is looking for a job, then maybe, they would be in a better place to give that talk, so they get the visibility. So that was nice.
For sure. Yeah.
Uh, um, okay, so a bit of a larger topic I wanted to cover is we always get the opportunity to do a press kit for analysts and press. And then we can have on-site interviews. We make sure we let them know if any, sometimes they have roundtables, anybody who's there. So Stefan, you've been trained to do this before. Are you okay if they
Yeah.
ask for interviews? Okay, cool.
Yeah, last time there wasn't a round table. Someone came to the booth, I don't remember from which publication, and it was a short interview, a couple of minutes right at the booth.
Yes.
I
The
think,
the roundtable is only organized by the CNCF if there happens to be a topic that they're covering that time. There was get-ups for a while, so sometimes we got called. But otherwise, yeah, it's just individual with the press. Like Kingdon's had done the talk with the Cube, those video interviews, so we can prepare for that. In terms of press kit, and I see Alexis is here, we were talking about how I think it'd be really great, wanted to ask people if we had some kind of press around the various companies who are supporting the Flux project, especially if there are new updates. This came about because we knew that GitLab might have an announcement, and I wanted to reach out to our friend Victor over there to see if that's the case. Stefan, you're at Control Plane, so I don't know if they would want to participate where we could kind of just create an update on, great new
for sure, it's
companies
me.
that
I
are
want to
involved.
participate.
Yeah. And I assume if you haven't already, you're updating the contributor page or might even be the support page to
Yeah,
add
Control
maybe
Meeting
new logos.
it's already listed
Okay, it's already
under
there.
sport and enterprise product. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so how do people feel about that? And Alexis, if you have any updates on companies that I should reach out to who would want to be on the official kind of mention list, they get a highlight, right? This is a company that's continuing to use Flux and they might have an update to share.
Sorry, were you asking me the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have any companies we should know about for me to reach out to?
There are some companies that will be expressing an interest in getting more serious about supporting Flux. And I'm asking all of them to do two things. One is to make themselves known. And that's very importantly in a public setting. So they need to share their thoughts with the community in a way that doesn't require them to have an email address for somebody. They just publish what they're looking for, and it's almost like an advertisement or a proposal. And that's something that I would like to happen in the community. You'll have to tell me where the best place for that to occur is, whether it should be on a mailing list or on the ecosystem page or somewhere else.
So
But
there is a GitHub discussion called "Is the project future at risk?" which has tons of people looking at it, and that's
right.
the best place for any.
Okay, well, let's start there then, unless anyone thinks there's a better answer. I mean, they may want to put things on the ecosystem page, but I think you're right that if that's where the discussion is happening, that's a good place to begin. But I believe that there would be a high level of interest in getting to a clarity on what's happening so that there could be some sort of update at KubeCon, which could be a CNCF update as well, Tamo. I know that Chris would support such a thing. The second thing I'm asking these people to do is contact the company that's associated with the commercial management of commercial matters coming out of Weaveworks, including all of the sort of Flux support contracts and anything around that. So anybody who's interested in that process should make direct contact with the company that's responsible for winding down commercial matters operationally at Weaveworks. For those ex-Weaveworks people on the call, I sent an email yesterday with the contact there. I see Adam here. If you need to contact them, just ping me. I can put you in touch. Just drop me an email. It's alexis.richardson@gmail.com. I'll put you straight in touch. But that's more of a one-to-one discussion between two businesses, because there are contracts which could be assigned with permission from the customers and things like this. So I don't want to really be involved in that. What I want to focus on is the community announcement here, because I think that's an opportunity for people to get jobs, which is very important. It's also an opportunity for how the project evolves with a broader group of maintainers to happen in a fair way. So I think that's good too.
So Stefan and others, you're okay with me at least trying to create potential messaging for a press kit, and then we can discuss if it looks good.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see which these companies are, what they are going to do with it. Right? It shouldn't come as a surprise to the Flux maintainers. They should actually post on that discussion and make, like Alexis said, their intentions public. And once we know them, we can decide on a message.
Okay. Anything else in the works as well? Because at the last KubeCon, I kept asking, is there stuff to share with press? And people were like, no, there's nothing. And then like on the last day of KubeCon, the second security audit came out, and I was like, wait, that was news. So I didn't know if like that was a surprise to everybody or, could have been planned for. So is there anything that we could be thinking about to submit to the press team at the CNCF for this KubeCon?
No surprises, I hope.
Okay, because that was
There
really
is
big
no
news.
audit that I know about going on. Control Plane is making an audit for Flux internally, but it's not something that will go out right at KubeCon. We want to make something around architectural design recommendation for how to set up Flux with multi-tenancy and so on. But yeah, I'm not sure if it will be ready, when it will be ready. But anyway, I'll let you know about this more about, it will not be something in the Flux project as a release. It will be more about, documentation around security, secure pipelines, things like that.
All right, thanks. That is all for all KubeCon Paris items, unless anybody has any final questions about KubeCon Paris. Thanks.
I've lost track of the meeting doc, so I'm not sure where we are in terms of agenda.
The next thing listed is the CD events. And then Sunny has 2 items.
Okay, I'm going to drop off now.
Thanks.
See you. Bye.
I added the CD events discussion, seeing Adam joining the meeting. Adam, do you have anything to discuss?
Oh yes, I don't actually really have anything to discuss. I updated that
Oh.
RFC a bit. I just thought I'd pop in to stay updated on Flux, just to keep my ears to the ground.
Is the RFC ready for final review?
Sorry.
Is the RFC ready for final review? Like all the things has been addressed?
Yeah, I think I updated with everything. I should double check after this. Sorry, I've been kind of getting into a bit of the technical stuff with the producer, or the last few, or sorry, the provider the last few days.
Did you manage to update the diagram so we show what exactly we are triggering?
Yeah, I think I uploaded all those diagrams that I showed, was it 2 weeks ago?
What?
And I think I uploaded a use case diagram as well. If I didn't, I'll update them later on. May have no.
Yeah, so the diagram that goes from CD events receiver, CD events go SDK, and it ends up at the customization. That's the one that, so it's called Flux events minus rfc.png. Is that even still used?
Let me have a look. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the first diagram.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. I actually forgot to get to that. That was your first change
Yeah.
customization to yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
so
Yeah,
here
yeah.
it should be sources, and because
So yeah.
one source can trigger many customization, and that's the case for lots of setups with Flux. It's not just one thing that does something. There are many things. So yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I meant to grab the source file for that and edit it, but I forgot about that. Sorry about that.
And also in the example receiver, right, the resource that gets triggered is not the customization, because that will not do anything. Here should be kind Git repo.
Yeah, I forgot to edit that to reflect the we had a whole conversation about that. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
We're looking for an example with some tool, right? What is the name of the tool? Like a working example, how it will interact with something that produces the event and how Flux will consume.
Oh yeah, I think we had a use case with Tecton. Yeah.
Not that kind of way.
Yeah, I need to upload that as well, I think. Yeah. I never forgot to upload those.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
that's
you don't need to put in there all the Tecton YAML and everything. Just
Yeah.
explain the workflow. Hey, Tecton does the
Yeah.
build, does something, updates something in the repo, or does a release. You maybe are doing releases for you react to a Git tag, and then it signals Flux, hey, a release has happened, go and do the actual delivery.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll add all that afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. So Adam, what I think we should kind of speed up the RFC and get it into shape. If we want for the receiver to be part of the next Flux miner,
Yeah.
well, if we talked about that, but so we do a minor release after each Kubernetes release, and the next Kubernetes release is mid-April, and we'll at mid-April we should have all things that we want in the next Flux miner already merged, because it usually takes like 2 weeks to do the whole thing, testing for Kubernetes and so on. But we should strive to get the receiver implementation merged, tested into notification controller
Yeah.
by, let's say, 1st of April, first week of April, something like that.
Sure.
If we want to get it now. If not, it will go in summer.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We'll try to speed that along. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
I wanted to discuss about notary notation pull requests. And I asked the contributor to join. Maybe they are in different time zones, so they could not join. The implementation introduces some new concepts that we didn't have before when we do verification, because our initial implementation was based on how cosign does verification, which is if something is verified or not verified. But in case of notary, you have some more levels of verification. You can enable verification, and there is a trust policy in notary where you can say skip. So verification will run, but the notation Go SDK, it will not do anything. It will just skip the actual verification. And there's another mode, which is audit, which will only check if the artifact has a signature and all the other things for verifying, but it will not actually verify.
It
then
verifies
there
the
is-
integrity of the signature, but it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there is permissive and there is a strict mode. Like there are 4 different modes of verification. So the last two, audit and skip, they don't actually perform full verification. So when the trust policy contains any of these, I think we should not say artifact is verified in Flux. But the way our code is organized or designed currently, we don't have a way to convey that to the controller. Controller just sees that something is verified or not verified, or there is an error. And our verifier interface makes it such that we can just convey this limited meaning. So I was discussing with Sule, and we were thinking about changing the verifier interface. It's a private interface to return one more thing, or it's like, what do you do? Should you say it's verified, or should you say it's not verified and fail, or speak here? I think he's the person working on notation.
Yes, that's
Right?
him.
Right. Okay, it's connected. So when we run verification, but the trust policy says that no verification was needed, I think Flux should not add any verified status condition.
Wait a second. We shouldn't be doing that at all. We should fail completely. Flux is not something that does audit. We don't.
Flux will not do it.
Right? This is like an audit thing. We don't do that. For us, verification is a Boolean all the time. So if the policy, which is specified in the secret, is loose and doesn't fit verified or not, we should completely fail with the error that this type of verification is not supported by Flux. There is no point in allowing the artifact to go on and have Flux have source controller being some kind of audit tool or reporting tool. It's not that. Source control is around getting into the cluster if they are verified or not, right?
From an adoption perspective, these flags make sense because the things that cause strict verification to fail that would still allow a permissive verification to succeed are all transient failure things, like, oh, the clock is set wrong, oh, the things that you would be really pissed off as a security engineer if you spent all this effort and time to make sure that people are signing their releases and you've verified that the signature is correct. And now because they can't get their clocks in order, you have to take the whole thing out because we can't say it's trustworthy, in terms of full strict. So that's why Notary has this flag. Permissive only disables those checks where it would be in terms of revocation list or so there are important things that you want to have in place, but relative to we don't have signatures at all and we don't verify signatures, there's a spectrum of adoption that people can take, and audit mode is better than skip.
Yeah, but Flux is not an admission controller. We are not doing reporting.
I think that
we wouldn't.
a simpler
actually
interface is better. So I'm with you there.
Yeah, I don't know. Because if someone wants to test the notation, well, we have some workload and it's signed with notation and we want to test it so in some staging environment or something like this, you can just switch the policy to skipped and test that the deployment goes on and everything works. And
Yeah,
then
but
when you
that's
go to
wait a
production,
second. If we have this feature, we need to implement it for OpenPGP. Is there a skip option for OpenPGP? No, we have to build it into OpenPGP, the OpenPGP package, and into cosign. We can't have oh, we are doing only for this implementation, this thing. And
But
for
that's
all
why
the
we,
others, we are strict, right?
well, that's why we made a verify interface, because we knew that cosine was doing enforce all the verification or just fair, but we knew that other implementation would do it some other way. That's why we wanted an interface. And now we just have to say that when we do verify, if you say our verify is ready, we can still tell people that, okay, for us it's ready, we can go on and do the deployment. But the verification, what notation tells us, because notation support it, is that it has skipped it. Cosine wouldn't skip it because cosine makes sure that the verification goes on every time. But for us, it doesn't change anything. It's the implementation that we rely on that gives this feature. It just reports it.
So
I
how
would
would
be
you
in favor of leaving skip out because skip is a mixed message. You have a verify section with skip enabled, and this means it doesn't do anything. So that's really a nonsense configuration. But permissive and audit are both valid modes that I would expect to be able to opt into if we're saying that we support Notary, because for progressive adoption, it's much better to be able to say, from this date forward, all releases were signed and verified signed. Even if you have to add some exception for a period where clocks were not correct or we had to figure out how to update the list of valid signatures, we can still say integrity verification was always performed if we have this.
And how you do that with cosine and OpenPGP?
With audit,
we don't
it's
have,
basically the same as
You
keyless
don't
mode,
have to do it.
except
others
Cosine
don't
would,
have to do it.
yeah.
It's
Cosine
like,
would just, we will keep our cosine implementation and the same verification process will apply.
it's basically the same as keyless mode without the recore. And if you don't have a subject and issuer regex, then you're doing the same type of verification as a notary audit. So
Well, the way it happened is we have the documentation that says when you use cosine to do the verification, you use the cosine CLI to do the signature, and then when you use Flux, you just decide the type is cosine, and you have to know what type of verification is offered by cosine. And when you do notary, you know that you can have several different, more fine-grained verification, I would say, but as a user, you're supposed to know this while we provide the documentation. But anyway, you use the cosine or the notary CLI to do the signature. So for sure, you know when the verification happens, what can happen.
the outcome will remain the same, verified or not verified or nothing. But there is a difference in the provider, what they support.
And all this is not a change in the API, right? We are not adding new fields.
No, nothing to be.
No change in the API.
It's in the secret, right?
In the secret of the provider.
Okay.
The trust
So-
policy is in the secret, and it's really in the verification implementation with the verify interface. The method is supposed to handle all the verification and just tell us what happened at the end. Was it verified? Today it says was it verified or not? And well, then I think go on, Sunny. Finish. I don't hear you. Oh, sorry.
So we are discussing about changing the verifier interface. Now it just returns a Boolean saying verified or not verified. But we need some way to say that it's not verified, but we should ignore it. We should not fail, continue reconciliation and create the artifact, but should not fail. And we cannot do that with just a Boolean. So you're thinking about, instead of returning a Boolean, we'll replace that with a enum, which will provide this extra meaning. So when everything is normal or you have a strict trust policy, and your verification succeeds, it will return verified. The same will be used by cosine to return the verified thing. And if you have enabled verification and verification fails, not errors out, but fails because your signature, the signature you provided didn't match with the, or the key, public key you provided didn't match with the signature, it will fail a reconciliation, but the return of verify function will not be an error, but not verified or unverified. And in the third case where you have enabled verification, but the trust policy says skip or audit only, this is only for notation, we'll return ignored. So controller will see it's not an error, it's ignored. So it will not add the verified status condition. It look like the output will be like as if you never enabled verification.
Where
But
you should delete the
internally,
condition.
in the code, we delete the condition when verification is enabled. Every time reconciliation starts, we remove the verified condition. Code is written such a way.
So we're not
So
going to
there
support
will
the
be
audit workflow, but we're not going to block people from selecting that policy either. I think that's a fair compromise. We don't need to update the API that way too deeply.
But if audit level fails, then we'll return an error.
And the other thing is that the notary implementation would have its own logger and it would log the verification.
The
and
logger.
status.
So in cosine, they don't have such details where what happened during verification. But in case of notary, their specification says when you were, let's say, doing audit or permissive level verification for things that fail, but your overall verification did not fail, they emit or they log those things. So our controller will also be able to, or should be logging those things.
So what's
And
the
that
same
can,
thing then? You will still have, you can still have the audit because the logging would still be there.
and
I see.
the,
Okay. I'm looking at the table. Everyone who hasn't seen the table here, I'm going to put a link in the chat.
in the meeting document, I have the link.
Okay. Yeah.
So the notary verification result comes in a specific data type, some verification outcome, and that has all the details, like whether you should log or not log or whatever you need to do. So the implementation on Flux side has to take this outcome variable or object and then do the logging if needed and return the result. Main objection is Bhavneet same as Jaspreet or are they different people? Confused. Anyway, Jaspreet was about to join, but I think he cannot join, I guess. Any more questions? Oh, so this would result in some changes in our cosine code as well. The cosine currently implements the existing interface, and we will have to change that to return one of these three new values, enum, verified, unverified, or ignored. And I'm not sure if we should do that in this PR or separately. Any questions or anything else regarding this topic? Nothing? I was wondering, should we update the, what's that called? There's a document in our docs site where we show how you use OCI, right? Should we update cheat sheets, right? Cheat sheets about CI artifact. Should we update that to also show 30?
I think that makes sense. Yeah. The
But then the
verification is
document
key
will
feature.
become really long.
Yeah, we
Like,
need.
this.
I think we need to create move OCI out of the cheat sheet and create proper docs for it, a section in the docs where we have a dedicated page for cosine and a dedicated page for notation and not mix them up because there are
How do
basically
you
no
want
one
to?
will sign with both tools, right? So if
Okay.
you want to follow some guide, you'll do it. This is how I do it with cosine, this is how I do it with notation, or one page with two main sections or something like that. But the cheat sheet is going like way too long, and yeah. I really
Okay.
need to jump in another call.
Okay.
Any other questions for me?
Do you think this is feasible to have this ready for April for the next version of Flux?
I would not impose the refactoring of the docs on this. But it all depends on the pull request. I think the requirement is to have proper docs in the API docs.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Yep.
can link the release page there, then have a follow-up issue in the website for refactoring the cheat sheet into proper docs and take that as a separate item. So yeah, if we can get Notary in shape for April in terms of API docs and code, I think we should go forward with it and make it part of the release. We also need to talk not next week because I'm off, but the week after next one. Or do it offline on Slack. We need to update the roadmap, and ideally we should do it before KubeCon. Remove what we've already accomplished last year and focus on the next release and the next two releases, basically. Right? So yeah, adding things that we think are going to make it. We are not making any like hard promises, but intentions. So I would definitely add the RCD events, link to the RFC. I'll definitely add notation on the roadmap. And of course, the promotion of Helm release to GA. Haven't seen any new bug reports from the last fixes. There are some things around, hey, we normalized our events and now Helm controller behaves how all the other controller behaves, and people are quite upset and so on. But I don't think those should be blockers for GA. But yeah, we should definitely have a meeting dedicated for the roadmap when we sit down and update the whole thing. And I would do it in 2 weeks from now. But we can talk about it more on Slack offline before meeting, and maybe at the when we meet in 2 weeks at the dev meeting, we have a draft pull request for the roadmap. We go over it one last time and we merge it then. How that sounds? Good?
Oh.
Okay. No one is excited about the roadmap. I am. I'll do it. You'll just sign off.
Didn't
Okay.
see my fireworks? Okay.
Need to go. Bye.
Oh,
Yeah, bye.
here we go. I wanted to, for others, I wanted to mention that somebody asked for image reflector controller TLS test, but not for test, they were trying to use TLS. They did not paste the exact error they got. They just said it's a send certificate error. I don't know if it works. I looked at the repository and we don't have actual tests where we exercise this custom certificate. So I wrote a test to verify. It seems to be working fine. So I'll submit a pull request with the test in image reflector. And it's not using the distribution server that we use in source controller. The image reflector has its own tooling around a registry. It's based on the Google container tools or there's a tool, right? So Google Go Container Registry project. They have a way to test registry server, just using that to verify this.
But don't we use, because in source controller we have a test registry server, and we use this to test OCI repositories and Helm charts on OCI. We push chart and we push with Flux push artifact. We push artifacts too, and we use the registry server to make tests. And we do TLS tests as well. So maybe we can just use that.
The problem with that is most of the code is part of the source controller code.
Yeah.
And
You would have,
it's not ready made. You cannot extract it. And
would
also,
have-
source controller doesn't do listing of the tags. Image reflector does listing of tags.
it does. When you have
For
an
OCI.
when you have an OCI repository or a Helm chart and you use Semver, it lists the tags to make sure it has the last version. And then it look at the version that if you have in the server, then it lists the tags, it do the comparison, and it try to find the right version for you. So it does that as well.
All right. But that code is again in the reconcile
Yeah,
itself, right? Not a separate. So in this case, we don't need to change the code. We just need a test. So just added a small test, not very small.
Okay.
I was thinking of copying the distribution server code tests from source controller. But then I saw it would be so much easier if we just use what image reflector already has. So I decided to just go with that. Maybe in the future we can unify them. Okay. Kingdom, can you help, or we can just ask that person what error they got? Say in the message on Slack,
Test.
the latest one. Do you have a registry with custom certificate? Certificate.
I have a Harbor, yeah, that runs TLS, Nginx.
And the certificate is Let's Encrypt or self-sign?
It's a Let's Encrypt.
Can you, I don't know, how do we help this person? We can verify. Like I have verified using my tests. You can verify using a real registry and then.
Can I grab the
Awesome.
Let's Encrypt CA root and put
Yeah, you
that
can.
in as a custom cert and then say that would work as a test? Yeah.
It should.
Yeah, it's did you say it's a pull request on image reflector or issue?
No, I have not created a pull request yet. I have
Oh,
some
right.
code. That's just a test code.
I don't have the link. I'm not sure where. Did you say it was in the meeting notes or?
Link to what?
You said there was an issue you said you wanted me to comment on.
No, there's no issue. There's
Oh,
no, it's
okay,
in
just to be able to
Slack.
test
There's a person on Slack, Justin, asking about this.
Oh, okay. All right. I
The
don't have Slack
last-
open. I'll check it out.
Okay. That's it. End of the
All right.
meeting.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Doesn't do anything. Okay, bye.